What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Politoxic Podcast. I'm your host, Little Miss Marxist.
And I'm Sari Beth Rosenberg, and we are here to tackle the most toxic topics in the news cycle this week.
We are rounding out the 4th of July holiday, and we are literally hanging on by a thread, you guys. But we decided that we wanted to start this episode on a positive note.
Yeah, so we're always going to start off with something positive because, well, there's always something positive to reflect on. And this week we are focusing on the jobs report. And y'all, this jobs report is really good, actually. 209,000 jobs were created last month for a total of 13.2 million jobs created since President Biden took office. I could go on and on. Here are the highlights, but you can read it all online. We're at 3.6 unemployment. That's under 4% for 17 months in a row. That's the longest. Wait, Marxie, it's the longest stretch in over 50 years. Again, this is really exciting news. There's so many more details, but we'd fill up our entire slot. So everyone needs to read this jobs report. It's really good news.
We love to hear it. And to me, it seems like Bidenomics is actually working, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what we call Bidenomics, and it's what we call working, and it's what we call keeping our economy not just rolling along, but improving. We have over 1.5 million jobs created in manufacturing, construction, and research development since he took office. But I'll stop because it's exciting. I want to say everything. I'm a teacher. I like stats. I like all the evidence. But yes, it's Bidenomics. It's working. So that's our positive topic, right? But let's move into the stuff that everyone's listening for, the toxic items, right?
I think that's what we're here for. But
Yeah,
this week, let's give a little time to the Moms for Liberty because they had a large convention in Philadelphia.
they sure did. And they Marriott hosted them, the Museum of the American Revolution. Lots of historians were very unhappy with that, and teachers and Americans. A little quickie on the Moms for Liberty. You want a little quickie on them? They started in 2021 in opposition to all this, remember all the craziness around the school mask mandates and don't cover up my beautiful child's face, to protect them from the pandemic.
Yep.
But then remember that, Marxie, right? Then they segued into this voice of, well, anti-teacher, anti-public schools, and
Anti-books.
anti-books, anti-learning, anti-facts, anything related to race, LGBTQ, anything about acceptance, they're anti, right? And
Yes, but they are really happy about one book, which is called Mein Kampf, because they are famously known for quoting Hitler in one of their newsletters just a couple of weeks ago. So
they
that's
were
not concerning at all.
they like that book. They were misunderstood. They were trying to make a point about the left. Sure, Jan, right? Or
Yeah,
sure, Planned Parenthood. That's their
Planned
name.
Parenthood. I heard a lot of things on Twitter. Twitter's coming up with some wonderful names for them. But actually, at the conference, I saw a video of one of the members who got up there and was doing a speech, and she actually said that everybody was coming for this mom who posted the Hitler quote, but that she stands behind her and she supports it. So I really kind of feel like they're doubling down on their fascism and what they stand for. But we're really lucky because Sari knows of some alternative groups that are actually coming up. Why don't you tell them a little bit about that?
Yeah, I do. Because at the end of the day, a third of the new chapters of Moms for Liberty are in 4 states: South Carolina, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Florida. So, yes, Moms for Liberty is a threat. We should be concerned about what they're doing. It's very dangerous. It's very fascist, right? But they
Absolutely.
don't represent the majority of us. And I actually put my feelers out probably in the beginning of the school year saying, hey, I have to guess that my hunch is correct, that there are groups out there that are countering Moms for Liberty, and there are. And there's a lot of them. The two I'm in conversation with and have seen their work are Our Schools USA and Americans for Democracy. So we'll put in the notes where to follow them, but just check out Our Schools USA, check out Americans for Democracy, because Moms for Liberty are toxic AF. But these groups represent the majority of, and they're doing great work countering all this book banning and banning of anything that is decent and that one should be learning in school.
I think something that the left can really learn from the right is really great at organizing. This campaign for the Moms for Liberty has taken off so quickly, and they're trying to work their way into every single school board. But where they're winning is they are showing up. So I think it would be really great to see a lot more people with our views getting involved in these things, because it's your kids' future. So you guys should be at these school board meetings as well, combating this type of um, assault that they're going against on education. So I'd recommend everybody getting involved if you can, if you're interested, and if you want your kids to still be able to learn accurate history.
Absolutely, because if you look at the histories of other countries and the rise of fascism, it starts with books, it starts with schools, it starts with attacks on teachers, and we're seeing them follow that playbook, and
Absolutely.
it's disconcerting, right? But I think that we need to realize that the attacks on public school and education are an attack on the democracy that we love, the democracy and progress that we love, and yeah, get involved, join these groups.
It's interesting that they're quoting Hitler in their newsletters, and actually, this is one of the first things that Hitler did, was get rid of all of the books and opposing opinions and things like that. So I think everybody keep your nose on that one, but we will be keeping an eye on the Moms for Liberty and updating you guys on what's going on with that. But I think we're going to move into the most toxic part of this episode and what has transpired between Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and social media this week. Holy cow.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I thought you were gonna bring up what is it, Mamas for DeSantis,
Oh,
but
that's right. We can
yeah,
go back to
we
that.
can
We know a
touch
little bit to say
that.
about
So
that.
yeah, because earlier in the week we were guessing that Mamas for DeSantis was going to be the most toxic item of the week,
You
but
got
now I don't know. Is it a tie? I think it comes in second. So
pretty close to.
let's tackle that. It's a close tie, but let's. I mean, I don't know. Any chance we can get to talk about Ron DeSantis' unlikability and failing campaign, and his wife Casey DeSantis is a good opportunity. So you wanna jump in on that?
Yeah, so Casey DeSantis has hit the campaign trail this week, and I wasn't aware that she was running for president, but we do know that they pulled Ron off completely because he is so unlikable. But she came up with this new slogan and T-shirt outfit this week that was "Mamas for DeSantis,"
Say
and
that
I
again.
honestly feel though, what's that?
I was saying, say that again, please.
She came up with a new group that's called Mamas for DeSantis. Um, and I personally feel like it's just another extension or another limb to the Moms for Liberty. They seem very aligned in what the messaging that they're trying to do. But I thought it was pretty funny that they pulled Ron off the campaign.
Yeah, that was pretty hilarious, to be honest. And I don't know. It seems like all the pundits, and I know you can't just listen to pundits, are saying that he has no hope here. I know that you didn't take the liberty to watch his despicable homophobic campaign ad hitting Trump for being too pro LGBTQ. It was despicable. I don't even recommend watching it because you can
It's
just get
been
what.
pulled down as of like right now when we're filming. I went to look at it before we
Oh,
jumped on the episode, and it's been taken down from Twitter. So it's not out there anymore, apparently.
oh, interesting. Well, even it was too gross for Twitter, which says a lot. Which brings us to the most toxic
Topic
item.
of the week. Dun, dun,
And if
dun.
anyone wants to make music for this, we can play it.
I,
Like,
I
you know,
wish. I wish we
yeah.
had some death metal or something
Oh,
because uh, it was the wildest thing I've ever seen. So this week, Mark Zuckerberg launched. They're calling it a Twitter clone, but he basically created a Twitter for Instagram users, and it was implemented 3 days ago, and they have already gained 90 million users in 3 freaking days.
wow. 90 million, right? I
90
remember
million.
that. But if anyone if anyone, I'm curious to hear, and please, comment when we post this episode. I'm curious to see who's joined already. A lot of people that we are friends with online have already joined. It is, I mean, you open up the account, you open up what is it? Your thread? I don't even know what to call it anymore. Call it yet,
I
right?
don't even know. It's so new. None of us know anything. I just know so far that it's awesome.
It's really awesome. We're loving it. And fun story, Marcy and I were in the same city, on the same day that Threads launched. So we got to sit side by side threading together.
It was quite a sight. I think, when we're looking in terms of the numbers of the 90 million, it's very clear that many of these followers are coming directly from Twitter. A lot of the large accounts that are talking about left wing stuff, like us, that aren't very active on Instagram in the picture and video space, have come over, which is really exciting. But I think what is contributing to this 90 million user startup is a lot of people on Instagram don't use Twitter.
Right.
And so now it's kind of a good way to invite them into that space. But I know my followers, a lot of them are like, oh my gosh, this is complete anarchy. This is so wild, but it's really fun. So I think Zuck has done a really good thing here in creating an alternate platform, but I'm a little bit nervous to see where it goes in terms of allowing news and politics, because that is already a subject that's coming up.
Yeah, there was a post about they kind of dialed it back, but at first, some people were speculating, and we can talk about what this was related to in terms of the potentially impending lawsuit that Elon Musk is threatening against
Oh my
Meta, right? But quick
God.
caveat,
He's
right?
he's suing Meta.
Suing Meta, and if anyone knows anything about Meta, they have probably one of the most powerful legal teams in the country, maybe the world. So good luck with that. He's already losing money and losing even more every day. And so it's so much bravado. It's just like the cage fight, right?
It's
So
really
if
fun.
so then what happened on threat, it's funny because this was like the last 2 days, right? But I think it was yesterday when Meta made some sort of announcement, like, we are not, basically I think they needed to cover themselves and make some sort of announcement like, we're not Twitter, we're our own thing. So this is not necessarily where we're going to encourage hard news and politics. I forget the wording per se. And then a lot of us freaked out because we're like, we're here because we like hard news and politics. And then they responded by saying, well, you can, you can have a bunch of the different things on here. I don't know. So I personally love the Wild West of this new site because I see the potential in it. What about you?
I agree, definitely. I think they've made it really easy to integrate everything, and with it being launched so prematurely and performing so well already, I'm really looking forward to some of the new features. I know a lot of people are threading about the things that they would like to see: an edit button, DMs, and group chats, and things like this. So I think it'll be interesting to see how quickly this program develops. But going back to the lawsuit that Elon is filing, he's claiming that Twitter copied his creation, which I think is fucking hysterical, because he bought Twitter a little over a year ago. He purchased Twitter in April 2022. So he didn't create anything. He basically burned $44 billion by allowing the platform to
Just turn
let
into
racism run rampant, homophobism, saying he's blocking words like you can't tweet the word cis anymore. I think he just completely trashed and ruined the platform that was amazing for so many years, which is causing 90 million people to go over to Threads, another app, because they don't want to see the right wing conspiracy theories and misinformation that they're pushing all the time. They might not want to see swastikas and Nazi flags flown regularly, videos of people killing our president and things like that. I think a lot of advertisers have been really spooked by the tone and how it's gone over the last few months. So I think it's funny that he's saying it's a copycat site. And another little fun bit that makes it even better is when Elon Musk purchased Twitter, he fired thousands of employees. Thousands. They are down to a bare bones staff, and I would definitely have to look up the facts on this, but I think they're running on around 100 people. So a company that used to employ thousands is now down to the bare bones, and Mark Zuckerberg hired all of those people.
right.
So this is capitalism in action, baby. All those people that Elon burned are now going on to create a platform that could potentially kill the bird, and I just think that is such poetic justice. What about you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, this is we saw it coming, and we didn't I had heard talks about this. Everyone was always saying Meta should create their own Twitter, and there was rumblings about it, and the rollout of it was just, I think, brilliant. And the other aspect of it that I think people love is that because it seamlessly connects to your Instagram
Yes.
page, right? Whereas with I think you and I joined all the apps trying to figure out what was going to land. Blue Sky, no pun intended, with birds flying, etc. But we can get into our thready dad jokes, but we'll spare you. But we joined Blue Sky. What were the other ones?
There was Mastodon, there was
Post News,
Tribal,
Bible, right?
there's so many different platforms. And to be quite honest, I didn't like any of them.
Me
And
neither.
no shade to any of these platforms, because I understand the difficulty, in engineering something that's going to be as good as Twitter, that's been around since, not really,
Right.
but it feels like the beginning of time. It was one of the founding fathers of social media. I know that's not an easy task, but I really didn't like the functions
Well,
of them. Some of them were very exclusive and you couldn't get in for a long time. And I'm saying it again. Threads is my favorite by
yeah,
far of all of the new ones. And I'm going to go ahead and stick a pin in and put my money on. I think it will be the thing that will take down Twitter.
I agree. And what I was connected to all that, I think one of the frustrations with all the different forays into rivaling Twitter was that you had to rebuild your followers and find your people,
Find
which is tough.
everybody.
I felt like I was in the middle of a new town trying to find my friends who had moved there and stuff. But with Instagram, I mean, you just keep seeing them flood in. Oh,
Yes.
this person, that person. And what's cool about it too is because our accounts were hard news and politics a lot of the times, with some fitness for me, we I felt like I started seeing conversations happening in our comment section and happening in our messenger as well. But now what's cool is I almost feel like I find myself going to Threads before Instagram, because you have the images, but you also have these conversations that can happen more seamlessly. I'm trying to use some analogies to threading, but anyway, seamlessly more happen on Threads, right? And I don't know, we listen, you and I can feel a little bit negative and cynical about the world, but I do feel I'm hoping this is not going to be our most positive polytoxy podcast, but I'm feeling pretty positive, and I don't want to jinx it, about this new app and where this is going, and I feel free from the bird,
I
right?
agree. I have not got as much amusement as this in quite some time, especially on the social apps. That the toxicity um, is insane. And when you're creating content like we are, unfortunately, the majority of the comments that we get are negative. And I've really enjoyed the humor and seeing the quickness and the wittiness of some of my followers and a bunch of our friends that are on there that we see on Twitter that you guys don't get to see on a regular basis. For those of you who aren't on Twitter, I laugh regularly reading the thoughts of like our friends, and I've just really enjoyed the last few days on this, and I just say let's let the good times roll, because it feels really good to be in a place as well where I know I'm not going to see a Nazi flag when I scroll down a
Yes.
little bit further. I know that's not going to be tolerated. Um,
No.
the right
And,
wing
and
is already coming up with crazy conspiracy theories, and some accounts are being labeled, but these are large accounts that are allowed to thrive on Twitter, that are placed at the top of the feeds that are suggested for you to follow, and they are posting all misinformation. They're
yeah,
posting doctored videos, and I'm really liking that Meta is so far seemingly not going to allow that kind of thing to thrive on a
yeah,
platform. And, if Meta and Zuckerberg is listening to this, which I highly doubt it, but I think they really need to look at the amount of people that signed up and the reason why they came. And it was
yes,
because they were looking for an alternative platform, because while MAGA likes to say that they're, the majority, they are just a loud minority. And I really have to believe that not all of us want to see that or think that way. Um, I really have to believe that the majority of us do not agree with that shit.
yeah, and that goes back to what we were saying when we talked about Moms for Liberty. At the end of the day, the groups like the ones I named might not be as well known, and they not might not be getting the Newsweek write ups. But that's where we come in, right? And that's where, at the end of the day, there's more of us than them. And even the fact that there was immediate pushback to the way that Meta and Zuck were envisioning where they saw threads going, I think that that's really empowering and exciting. And what really scared me when we started seeing Twitter getting destroyed by Elon Musk, I think on purpose, my big fear was all the marginalized groups that had found community on Twitter. I was very concerned about it, both globally and ones just in the United States, where they really found connections and community and were able to enact changes, even if it was on the local level by organizing on Twitter. I was really concerned as we go into this election cycle that we weren't going to have this public town square, this online town square. And I'm feeling a little more optimistic that we can all come together there and make sure that people vote, because we all need to vote in 2024. And I think that it's exciting to see that there we can find a place to organize, right?
Yeah, and I truly hope that Twitter, or I'm sorry, Threads, is going to remain a town square.
Yeah.
Because going back to that tweet that you're referencing, he said that sports and fashion and pop culture, all that stuff is important. And I just would like to stress that I think that news and politics is just as important, if not
Yes.
more, than all of those other trivial subjects. Because if you're following politics, this is these are things that really directly affect you and your family and your life and your schools and your states and
Yeah.
what kind of health care you can get. And so I'm really excited to have a new place to connect with everybody so we can get ready for 2024, because it is coming quick and we've got a lot of work to do.
And at the end of the day, I threaded, I wanted to just say this once. I threaded this, and my thread was that everything is political. And I think that there's this connotation with political that it's toxic and scary and mean and boring. But I don't think so, because I think we need to reimagine and maybe educate ourselves on what political really means. And what politics is supposed to be is voting for people and getting involved in our communities to make it the best place for the majority of us, right? So when we hear the word political, let's reorient our brains a bit and realize that when I say everything's a political, doesn't mean that I'm going to bore you at dinner. It means that I'm going to find ways to empower you to make your life more enjoyable so that you can afford to, go see sports and go to movies and concerts and all the fun stuff that we can also post about, right?
Yeah, and I think it's important to remember that politics is not about rainbows on beer cans. Politics is not about Target selling pride merchandise. Politics is about policies for the people, and politicians are elected to work for us, not corporations. But that means that we have to elect the correct people that are actually going to fight for us. Because what's happening in Congress now, this circus that has been happening ever since Trump got into office, that's not what politics is like. And I think if everybody looks back to the past, it has never been this way. And it's because MAGA is making a mockery of our democracy. And
Yeah.
the only way that that's going to change is if we get involved and fucking do something about it.
Yeah. Yeah. They are public servants, period.
Yeah. Yeah. On a funny note, I guess to end the episode,
Mhm. Mhm.
Sari and I were enough, unfortunate to find ourselves at a Republican 4th of July party completely on accident. And what an experience that was.
Yeah, and we could spend some time on the podcast talking about it, but I think you need to see our faces and expressions and our just laughter about the experience. And so, right, I mean, that night, I think we attended the party, processed it a bit, and then did a TikTok/Reels. So we'd love for you to check it out. It's on all of our pages. It's on the Polytoxic podcast page. It's on Little Miss Marxist. It's on Sari Beth Rose. We basically
It's
flooded.
every
We flooded the internet, and so many of our followers and friends. I consider, let's stop calling they're our friends. Our
our
followers are
friends
our friends, right?
and
All of our
trolls.
friends,
Our
all of
friends
our
and trolls. All of our friends and trolls saw it.
yeah. That's your line, so I didn't want to say it. Yeah, all of our friends in Trolls saw it. Now, you know what's great? We get to share Trolls, Marcy. It's so cute.
It's so fun.
They saw it. They loved it. A lot of people were like, I don't understand. We were like, we don't understand. Like, we
Yeah.
don't know how we got there. I don't know. But yeah, watch, it's a quick, it's like a minute. So we encapsulated our several hours of MAGA
Hell,
misery to hell, MAGA misery, hell, aka hell, into 1 minute. We got out of there alive, and we were very clever about it. So see how
amazing.
we it was a lesson. It was a lesson in how to not like get completely attacked by fireworks at the firework at the I was going to say at the fireworks of July, but yeah.
You know,
So you
I
also
feel like
watch
it was
that.
a discovery experience for us, and it might just inspire me to go undercover more often because, wow. But we are really excited to announce to everybody that we are finally live on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So we will put our link tree in the bio, which you can link directly to all of them. We're so excited to be back for episode 2, and we will be back again next week with some more. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you around.
See you around.
Bye.
Bye.